Warm greeting from the high 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans, and thanks for joining me. I want to bring you more information pertaining to the kidnapping and murder of Cash Gernon out of Dallas, Texas, a 4-year-old Caucasian child who was bludgeoned to death and discarded in a public street. There's more information that has been released to the public. I just found the source today. If you need verification for this said information, you need to log on to 1121 CBS DFW. I don't know what's really going on with this case. Every day there's something different said about the family knowing of Darryinn Brown, and that's where I have the problem right now is the different sources of information, the U.S. Sun, Daily Beast, Daily News, and the Daily Mail, bringing forth information pertaining to this case, this child, what happened, didn't happen, who said what, who shot Jay, of the who pertaining to the case, because it's like nonstop different versions of who knows this guy. The story has changed in 1 week's time of this Cameron dude, who is the son of Miss Sherrod, that he attended school with him, didn't know him. He goes on to tell in an interview how they just attended school. No reason for him to commit this crime. Why would he commit this crime to a 4-year-old? He was close to the 4-year-old. He was like a brother to him. Then it changed from only knowing him through school to he was at the house 2 days beforehand. The mother wanted him out of there because the children felt some type of way about his behavior. Yeah. We don't even know what was actually said because no one's bringing forth the actual conversation of who said what to whom. What did he do? What did he say? Stop talking in circles. I hate when people don't tell what someone said. What did they do that offended you? Exactly. Bring someone else to corroborate what you saw, what you heard. That's how I feel right now. So the son didn't know him, went to school with him. Then it went from that to he was at the house 2 days before the damn murder. Then it went from Darryinn Brown being at the house to what next? I can't even keep up. Now it's article brought you in the wee hours. They know each other. Eyewitnesses are saying they've seen them hang together. I do not have receipts to that. That is just what's floating out there in La La Land. Yes, might as well. Everyone else is making videos. Might as well join the group. This changing of stories is out of control. I know who he is, dear. I know. Please don't use his name in the chat. Please don't use his name in the chat. No disrespect, but I don't let people use other people's name in the chat because it starts controversy with the he said, she said. My problem is the changing of the story with Cameron and the mother. And now the other information pertaining to the father just left a week beforehand, but yet Ms. Sherrod said he left in March, left the 2 children behind, and he left a week ago. Now news sources are saying the same thing. It was a week before the child's death that Mr. Trevor left her house. So you see, I have a problem with these stories, these lies. Call it what you want, half-truth, lies, fibbing. What is the truth about these people and this Darryinn Brown? Do you know him or you don't? You were friends with him, you weren't friends with him. Now you've been quoted, Cameron, that friends ain't nothing. Well, let's think about that. What does that have to do with the child being deceased? That's not something you would even say. Hey, I said stop using YouTuber's name in my chat. I'm not going to ask you all again. This video is not about Benny or any other YouTuber. This is my channel. And I'm not promoting nobody else's channel. And I don't want another person's channel discussed in my chat. Stop it. Stop it. I'm here to bring you information and a source. You take it as you see fit. But don't bring other people's names in my chat. Can't even keep up with what I'm trying to say. The point is, Cameron says he went to school with them, but he didn't know him. And the next thing we know, we hear the boy was at the house. The young man was at their house. The mother came home, had words with him, allegedly. As I state, how'd he get there? This and that. Why didn't anybody call the police if they felt he was a threat, did something, said something? Had he been visiting before? How long have they known him? Why does it keep changing? Now, this new source I bring you early this morning is saying that Cameron is saying they were friends in the past. So when we say the past, are we talking about 2 weeks ago before the death of the child? Are we talking about 2 months ago, 1 month ago, 5 months ago, grade school, high school? I'm drowning. Then the discrepancies with the father. When did he leave? 2 months ago? 1 week ago? 2 weeks ago? Which is it? And if we're to believe Lieutenant Wise's commentary that Darryinn Brown is the sole suspect in this child's death, the orchestrator of the crime, no other suspects have been named, no other suspects will be arrested, then why are these other people lying about knowing him? Because you see, as I keep telling you, everything is how it looks. Doesn't mean that it's factual, because we don't know what happened in that house. We don't know these people. We don't know what they do and don't do. We don't know who their friends are, their family. We don't know them. They are now a news sensation surrounding the death of a child. And we only have to go on what they told the news. So if you all want to get an attitude about what the hell they said, knock yourself out. But you can't get mad on information that these people put out and now retract and come up with another version and then another version. And if the child hasn't even been dead a week and a half, why do we have 3 or 4 different versions of who actually was at the house, when the person actually left the house, Mr. Trevor? Who knows Darryinn? Darryinn has now been to the house, but yet nobody knew him. Now, Cameron has claimed that they were once friends, doesn't specify the time frame of the friendship, when it ended, when it started. So what the story going to be tomorrow? That's my point. Every day since this child was discovered in the street like trash, there has been a different version coming out by that Cameron and the mother pertaining to their relationship with Darryinn Brown. Let me read you the source of information. CBS 1121 DFW is the source. The 18-year-old accused of killing 4-year-old Cash Gernon, Darryinn Brown, now faces 2 more charges. In addition to kidnapping and theft, Brown is charged with injury to a child, elderly individual, or disabled individual. The alleged offense is a first-degree felony, punishable up to 99 years of life in prison. Additionally, he faces a second burglary charge. Cash was found in the 7500 block of Saddle Ridge Drive, about a half a mile from a home he was living at with his twin brother on Florina. He was lying in a pool of blood and had multiple wounds from what investigators say was an edged weapon and did not have on a shirt or shoes. A jogger discovered Cash's body. The woman told CBS 11 News that she initially thought she was seeing what was a dog, but quickly realized it wasn't. The closer I get to it, I can tell it's a human because I see a hand and I see legs. Very traumatizing. I have 3 kids. To see a child covered in blood in the middle of the street is truly traumatizing, she said. According to an arrest warrant affidavit, home surveillance video shows a person who police said is Brown lifting Cash from his crib as he slept and carrying the boy away. The woman who had the child in her care, Monica Sherrod, is the girlfriend of Cash's father. According to the court papers, Sherrod identified Brown as the person in the video and said that while she knew him, he did not have permission to be inside her home. A second video allegedly shows Brown returning. It appears to take Cash's twin Carter, but he leaves without taking the boy. This would have happened after Cash was already deceased. And most of you have seen the said video that has been uploaded to social media. And everyone has their own interpretation of what they saw in both clips of the video, one in night vision, one in color. As I said, the source for this is 1121 CBS DFW. If you need to verify said information, this information is even more baffling to me because what am I to believe with this information? He's facing 2 new charges. Darryinn Brown, 18. But yet he has not been arrested for the murder of the child. So when you say he's facing new charges, such as injury to a child, elderly individual, or disabled individual, punishable up to 99 years to life in prison, explain to me why he's not been arrested for murder. This is just something you're telling us because you're getting ready to charge him with murder. Help me understand the law. Something is odd with this story. And as I state, I don't make any claims of who did what to who knows whom. I can only go by what comes out of the mouth of the sources in the story. That's any story. It doesn't matter if you're white, you're black, you're Jew, you're Arab. If you're Arab talking, I'm listening to what you said. If you're Chinese and you're talking, I'm listening to what you said. And I can only go by what you said and what you didn't say and how you looked and how you carried yourself and what you exposed in your commentary. That's life. Why is it day for day there are varying versions of how these people knew Darryinn Brown? That's the problem I have with this information. So what are we to believe? That now you have to retract how you knew him, didn't know him? Well, see, that leads me to think that somebody is coming forward with information pertaining to the relationship of all parties, and you're being interrogated and you're having to change your version per version that the police detective is bringing forward to you during your interrogation. Well, sir, ma'am, Pookie got you on camera talking to such and such on 15th Street at 2:45 p.m. But you said you didn't know him. We've got Pookie coming out your house at this time of day, but you said you didn't know him. We got Pookie coming out your house this time of day, but you said you only knew him from school. Now it's middle school. Each day, each article, each news source continues to bring a different version of Cameron Maury's relationship with Darryinn Brown. Now there's gossip in the street. I do not have it verified. Just what was been said by different people in the chat, that someone has identified the two hanging together in each other's presence before the death of Cash Gernon. Is that true? Bring a receipt. Because naturally, normal people aren't going to be out here filming 2 people talking, sitting on a stoop, porch, backyard, riding bicycles, skateboards, because that would be considered stalking. What would a grown person be doing? Following kids around. But bring the queen a receipt to say, here are the 2 hanging together, talking together. Something. Because I'm sick of this nonsense. Because in the end, it is about Cash Gernon and who got him gone and all parties involved, if indeed there are other parties. And yes, it looks bad that Darryinn Brown is involved. He obviously has some issues with picking up things that don't belong to him. Video surveillance has been released of him trying to break into a car, peering through a wooded fence in the same neighborhood, in a house neighboring Miss Sherrod's house. Of course, it looks bad. What are you looking for? What are you doing there? If you don't know the people, what are you doing there? But then they say, flip side, article I read to you yesterday, the reporter is saying, well, hey, that house wasn't her house that he was peering through. It was Mr. Alvarado's fence. So what the hell was he doing looking in there? What does that have to do with Miss Sherrod? I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. But what I'm saying is, this story is out of control. It's baffling. And to me, it's Cow City all over again with the he said, she said, and the rhetoric and the Facebook gossip, and the innuendos, and the narratives, and who likes who, and who's friends with who, and they didn't do this, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to say this for the 18th time. You do not know anyone. And you can't speak on a person's character if you ain't rode the ride with them. You ain't woke up with them, slept with them, dated them. went toe-to-toe, battled for them. They ain't battled for you. You can't speak on their demeanor. And you should never speak on someone's demeanor when you don't know them personally. Thank you, Crystal. You want to donate to the channel? $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. All super chats are welcome during the live. I thank you all for joining me on this wonderful day in the high 10. God bless all of you. These are my concerns pertaining to Cash Gernon, that this will be a media circus, that it will continue to be gossip and rhetoric, because this is what people do. They make up stuff, they post it to social media, what they think, what they heard, and then some innocent, gullible person goes out here and believes what was said as if it is the spoken word. And sometimes what looks bad is just that. It looks bad. The people look guilty, but they didn't have anything to do with a missing person or the death of a human being. So we judge them according to what we see. We judge them according to what we ain't seen. We judge them according to the stuff they said out their mouth. We judge them according to stuff that other people said about them that say they know them, been with them, dated them. But this case is starting to get clownish because every day a news source keeps bringing a different version out of the mouths of the mother and the son. Do you all know Darryinn Brown? What was the relationship before he was arrested for theft and burglary of your home? Ms. Sherrod, Mr. Cameron. Ms. Sherrod, did you date the boy? Is this a drug-related situation? Cameron, were you friends with him a day before the death of Cash? Or were you friends with him the same day? Something popped off between you two? Is this a matter of you using this boy because he's developmentally slow, as the word on the street is? Because it hasn't been clarified what ailments Darryinn Brown has. So I don't claim that he has any ailments because I don't know him. What I can say is he likes picking up things that don't belong to him only because it's on video. What I don't do is say, I know for sure he killed this person. He's friends with this person. He's dating a mama. He's on drugs. He molested a child. I don't do that because I don't have no proof and I don't have no receipts. But what I will speak on is what these people in the storyline have brought forth out of their own mouths to news sources and YouTube. You see, once you open your mouth, you're a free game for people to come at you and critique what you said. And if you have a problem with what you said, then maybe you shouldn't speak again. And maybe possibly you shouldn't have said nothing in the first place. Because that's what we do. We critique people. We judge people. Because as I state, we are all flawed. But I'm tired of the different versions because I've been jumping on this story for a week and I'm on now, I believe, video number 11. And it's ridiculous that damn near every video, there's a different version in each source I brought you pertaining to who knows and don't know Darryinn Brown. So if you don't have anything to do with this death, the kidnapping of Cash Gernon, Sherrod family, if indeed Lieutenant Wise is adamant that Darryinn Brown is the sole suspect of this kidnapping and death, why do you all keep changing your version about knowing Darryinn Brown? Why would you have to lie? What purpose do you have to keep changing the version? That's the part that makes no sense. You either know him or you don't. You friends with him, or you ain't. How hard is it? So what is the next version going to be by the time I wake up tomorrow, God willing? What's going to be the next version? Someone said they played sports together. So I told that person the other day, well, how can you play sports with him? He didn't know him. And there's no way you're going to tell me you played on a team with somebody and didn't know him. Maybe y'all didn't hang together, but if you're on the same team, you've got the camaraderie of teammates. Stay woke. Who was he visiting when the mom told him not to come back to the home? Well, that's the point. Nobody is telling the whole truth of this Darryinn Brown relationship. Let me hear from a child what was said and done in that house when Darryinn Brown visited 2 days beforehand. What did he say to the kids? What did they say to him? What was going on before Miss Sherrod allegedly showed up from grocery shopping? Why didn't you all call the police if you felt threatened by him, his behavior, his tongue, his demeanor? Who let Darryinn Brown into the house? See, don't come talking crazy about who knows who and who ain't guilty when they didn't came forward and said he was in the damn house. So somebody let him in. So what you want me to believe? Two itty bitty spiders let a grown ass man in the house and the other people was in the house and they didn't say nothing? But then later, we get a new version. Somebody felt threatened. But you didn't call 911. Because remember, that's your house. That's your house. So how the hell you gonna feel threatened in your own house? I don't care if you're 12. That's still your house. And you should have no problem even at 12 telling a cat, you got to come up out of here. Because I didn't send for you. And if I didn't send for you, you ain't got no business in my house. Hallelujah. The old lady once said that comment to me, and I use it every time I get a chance. I didn't send for you. So hell, it shouldn't be no problem with you. So I'm going to ask the question again. Who sent for Darryinn Brown 2 days before the child was found dead? What the hell was he doing up in that house? Who opened the door? You want me to now believe he broke in the garage 2 days beforehand and just walked up in that house to play with two little white kids? I'll wait. You see, I'm woke. I've been woke. I'm 50. I didn't come out my mama's womb yesterday or the day before. So I'm all the way woke. And one thing I know is when you start seeing discrepancies in a story, lies in a story, there is some smoke in the story somewhere. And if you are telling the truth, you have no need to double back and bring forth another version pertaining to the story. So whether you didn't have anything to do with the crime itself, it's how it looks. It's how it looks. And we've learned the cops can come out and say anytime, Pookie ain't got nothing to do with this. Ray Ray ain't got nothing to do with this. We got one suspect. We got no suspects. But it doesn't mean people ain't suspecting the folks in the story. Or the one that you do have as a suspect, folks think they ain't guilty. Or they got a party into it with other people. Because everything is about interpretation, perception. Because what I see, you don't see. What y'all see in that window, in that bedroom, maybe I didn't see that. You understand what I'm saying? What you thought he was wearing on his feet, maybe I didn't see that. The hairstyle, I didn't see that. Do you understand? Perception is everything. And it is perception of those videos. It is what has got this ball crunked to the he said and the she said of curly hair, dreadlock, shoes, no shoes, socks on, socks off. White man, black man, this video, that video. The hype began. But what you can't do is tell somebody how to think. Because I don't have to think like how you think. You see, the only thing that you and I do the same is we put our drawers on the same damn way. But that don't mean I got to rock with you. Amen. What you see, I don't see. What you hear, I don't hear. What you're invested in, I don't have to be invested. This story is about a 4-year-old bludgeoned to death cruelly for no decent reason. As I say, there's no reason to ever murder a child because he didn't have a dog in the race to be murdered. Can't drive, can't walk, can't work. Probably could barely tie his own shoes. So what could he have done to offend a human being to deserve death? We all are entitled to our interpretation of the story as other stories. And one thing I want you all to always remember is that the reason you hear a lot of gossip and rhetoric with a story is because the people in the story are tainted, such as the Malia Davis case, the missing boys out of Cal City. You see, the one thing that all those stories have in common is that people to be ghetto ratchet. Yeah, I'm saying that. You don't have to like it. I didn't say it for you to like it, but I'm telling you the truth. You see, gossip comes with tainted people. Stay woke. Gossip comes with tainted people. As soon as somebody knows you broke the law, as soon as somebody knows you have a drinking problem, as soon as somebody knows you have a drug problem, you used to get high, you hung with dope dealers, you were a dope dealer, you are a dope dealer, you a convicted felon, you committed felonies. Come on, Queen. They gonna talk about you. It don't mean that your spirit ain't better now. You trying to live right. You are living right. It's what I heard about you. So I'm judging you accordingly. Doesn't mean it's right, but we're human. So you see, each story pertaining to these children, missing, dead, have one main factor that's common. The people who took care of them were ghetto fabulous, be they were white or black, Arab, Jew. You all were eating from the same soup bowl. Your shit wasn't right. Or as we say in the street, your shit wasn't tight. Because you foul and you rank. And you've been out there doing facetious things in them streets, felonious acts in them streets, but yet you're supposed to have been somebody's mama, daddy, caretaker, guardian, adopted parent, foster parent. Don't matter the title. Because in the end, a title is all it is a title. Hello. That's what these stories have in common. And that's when I know there's smoke in the city. Because when your case mirrors the case over here in Ohio, New York, Alabama, California, Utah, Arizona, Florida, it tells me only one thing. There's some smoke in the city. Oh, I'm Gucci Edwin. Don't worry about the queen. I got this, baby. I'm straight. Tainted people bring problems to the table. And they do this when it ain't no death, when it ain't no missing person, when it ain't no murder, when it ain't no attempted murder. They are problem people. And problem people bring problems. And with problem people comes gossip. Because the bones start to fly out your mouth when you speak, and the bones come out the closet. Either by the door was open, somebody pried the door open, or they slid under the cracks. Take your pick. Either way, the bones are exposed. And they continue to be exposed because it was time for them to be exposed, whether you liked it or not. Didn't intend for it to come out or not. So, what is the truth pertaining to the death of Cash Gernon? Is this solely Darryinn Brown's or orchestrating this crime? He went in his home once, took the child out, took him out, bludgeoned him either at that house or somewhere else, discarded him, went home, changed his clothes, came back during daylight savings time, and walked back in the room to allegedly attempt to kidnap baby Carter. But see, where I have the problem with that, he didn't take it. So when you say he tried, he attempted, you know the queen. Show me he tried. Because I don't see that in the video. And that's the whole point of the story. What you see, I don't see. And as one person said last night, that makes perfect sense to me. That was Night Owl. Who the hell gonna risk going in a house of many people to kidnap a child, assault a child, kidnap, murder, whatsoever, with several people living in this house? So we have Miss Sherrod, 4 kids, that is 5. Allegedly 2 parents, they said that would make it 7. The 2 kids would make it 9. Come on, Queen. You willing to get caught passing people in the corridors of a house that you don't belong in to take a child out of there? Or to play with a child? Assault a child? Hell, assault an adult. Kidnap an adult. Harm an adult. Shoot an adult. Stab an adult. You willing to step over 9 people? Who let Darryinn Brown in the house? Y'all say he broke in. Mr. Ross say he broke in. But guess what? Did he? Because when I look at the video in the morning light, he's too damn comfortable for my taste. And that's my perception. And perhaps some of you look and say, oh, he got started. He ran off. I see that in the chat. But as I say, what you see, I don't see. What you hear, I don't hear. Because in the beginning, when I first saw the video, I didn't hear anything because someone was playing music over the video on their channel. So therefore, I didn't have the luxury of hearing the alleged conversations that some of you assume he was talking to someone, them, those, or himself. Yes, where is the blood trail? And the weapon that was found by the police. Is it Cash's house, Mr. Rod's house, or was it retrieved from Mr. Brown's house? I've got discrepancies on that from 2 different articles. And that's a problem for me because I want to trust the source when it is the news. So somebody needs to get it right. Whose house was the weapon retrieved from? Thank you all for joining. Yes, it's damaged, but the law says it doesn't matter if it's damaged or not, Miss Crystal. You don't belong in their house, so it's still breaking and entering. Son said the door was tampered with. Not that it was Darryinn, it was just a non-secure door. Okay. But the point still remains, everybody. Doesn't matter if the door was open, closed, shut, cracked, tore up, broke. The law says you don't belong there. So you see, I don't sugarcoat nothing, and I don't defend what is wrong in this case. Darryinn Brown didn't live there. If he was not invited there, he had no business going in any door, be it a glass door, side door, window, cracking the door, broke door, damaged door. It's not the point. It's not his house. So he don't have no business there. That's my commentary today. Is I'm sick of the different versions pertaining to these people because I don't know what to think about these people. I don't like what I've heard. I don't like what I've seen. And I don't have to know them. Because like I said, if you're concerned about your looks, your demeanor, you should have stayed out the news. Because I believe this story could have been prevented, considering several people went to the law allegedly complaining about Darryinn Brown attempting to break in, peeping, lurking. This story should have been put to bed months ago, before the child was murdered. Perhaps had someone called the police and the police followed through. Well, they said they did call, but as I stated, show a queen a receipt. Had they came, compared Mr. Brown to the footage, they could have arrested him, and maybe he could have stayed his tail in jail. Nobody bonded him out, or the judge decided not to give him a bond. But we would never know that because he wasn't afforded that opportunity to be caught. Only from the words of Mr. Rod, he is the said man in the video surveillance from her home in the room where the children slept, and the guy taking the child allegedly out of the bed. And another problem I have, once again, Trevor Gernon, when did you last leave Mr. Rod's home? Was it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, or was it the month of March 2021? Because now that's up for interpretation. That you left a week before, or she hadn't heard from you in a week after the children's death, which leads me to say, so what are we saying? She's been talking to him on the phone up until the children's death, but then when the child died, she couldn't reach Mr. Trevor. What is the point of the conversation? Because I'm lost. 2 articles now are saying 1 week interval, him leaving the house. But yet Mr. Rod originally told the public that, Daily Mail, he's been gone since March. Trevor Gernon. He left his 2 twin boys behind. So what is the truth? So see, this is where it's funny to me that somebody would say somebody's judging these people. What the hell you mean? If you tell me something today and then you change the story 2 days from now, then you come back 5 days later with a third version, how the hell am I judging you? How the hell am I, others, judging you when you and others are changing the story, the narrative, as you all love to say, the narrative? It either this or it's that, but it can't be both. Plural. And that's the spoken word. It's either this or that. And the fact that these people have criminal records, Darryinn Brown, we don't know all what he has done. Mr. Rod has a criminal past. Mr. Gernon has a criminal past. That's why he eluded the police, then uses the child's death as an excuse to not turn himself in, fearing for his freedom and his safety. But like I said to you all in my lives yesterday, Mr. Gernon, you wasn't worried about your safety when you was out there on the run and doing whatever the hell you was doing, staying wherever the hell you was staying when your child was alive. You weren't worried about the safety of your kids. Why you sitting there talking about yourself? What about your children? They weren't deemed important enough. And like somebody else said in the chat, how the hell we know he ain't been at that house all this time? Shut your mouth. Because what I have to ask myself once again, why is it still being said in these articles? They trying to understand how Miss Sherrod identified Darryinn Brown. That doesn't sound right to me. It sounds suspect to me to keep saying that in a news article. But yet the Lieutenant Wise says Darrynn's the sole suspect. Well, if he's the sole suspect, why the hell you all keep having these people write these articles saying they don't understand how she identified him? They don't understand the relationship between she and Mr. Brown and Cash. So you're sending messages to the public that whatever information you got from Miss Sherrod, her son, is inaccurate or fudged a bit or two. So how can anybody say we are judging Miss Sherrod and her son when they are the orchestrators of the storyline? Nobody knew what happened in that house except for whoever was in that house, whoever came in that house. Nobody knew anything about that street, that house, until you called 911. You went to the Daily Mail. You gave up the 211 because we ain't going to say the 411. So how the hell are we judging somebody when you are the orchestrator of the story, the initiator of the story? You keep talking about the story. You went to a tabloid paper and gave your version, but we are guilty of judging you. I don't think so. You see, you're the orchestrator. So on your part, whether you help a Darryinn Brown or not, knew Darryinn Brown or not, you are the orchestrator of the story. And you keep changing your story of how you know Darryinn Brown, but yet you're being judged. Stop contradicting yourself. They are a tabloid paper. It's obvious. Anybody that's familiar with the UK and their tabloid papers, they buy stories, they buy information. So one would have to ask themselves, why the hell would you give information about a dead child that you love to a tabloid paper? Even the U.S. Sun has been known as a tabloid American paper, who has also been reporting the story and has been a source of my information. So I'm a little bit leery about bringing information from that source to you all, but I bring it to you anyway because it is of the latest update in the Google search. You're entitled to your interpretation of anything you hear and see in this world. And we have learned from dealing with human beings that everybody sees things differently, such as being friends with somebody. You may come to me and tell me Lily Mae is a horrible person. She's this, she's that, she's mean. But I may say, I don't get that from Lily Mae. She's a kind-hearted person, hard worker, diligent, faithful friend. So now we have two people talking about the same person with different interpretations and experiences of the said person. And that's the point of life. That what I go through with Lily Mae, you may not have gone through with Lily Mae. And how Lily Mae treats me, maybe it's not the same how she treats you. Stay woke. Because who's deemed nice is deemed a fool and a clown over here on 15th Street. And we know this from dealing with friends, family, co-workers, people we live around, people we date, marry, children raised by the same mom and daddy. One child says they were mistreated. One child says he was treated well. Who's telling the truth? I tell you, stay woke. Yes, they are the only ones talking. Thank you all for joining me. You mad that she's not having locks, especially on a busy street? Well, Moon Rain, I keep telling you all, what somebody do in their house, that's their choice. How they live, how they raise their children, if they keep it clean, if it's cluttered. Locks on the gate, locks on the garage, new door, old door. If a person don't deem themselves worthy to put locks on their doors, fix a garage door, fix a glass slide door, latch a window, that is his or her choice. And the fact that you bring that up goes back to what I've already said. How in the hell can you complain about burglaries in the neighborhood and you wouldn't fix a garage door, which leads to a door that's adjacent to the house from the garage? Then that means you didn't care about your safety or your children's safety or the safety of the twins, that you wouldn't fix the garage knowing anybody could slide in there and then go up to the door that's adjacent to the house. Because many houses are made that way. You can enter the garage and go from the garage to a door which leads into the house. But what the hell am I going to have a garage that don't latch? Who does this? No, the story doesn't make any sense. So that's why I say, don't get mad at people because what they see and hear don't make sense to them. Because you want to be a ride or die fan of Miss Sherrod and her son and kids, that's your choice. I ain't you. I ain't jaded, I ain't blind. Queen, stay woke. Because I don't take no sides in no story pertaining to kids. That's on God. And I'm not going to sugarcoat a story because it's in my city, because I know the people, because I like the people. They look like me, they sound like me, they my same race. However you want to word it, Queen don't rock like that. Never have, never will. I go by what's been told, what has been revealed. That's how I judge a story, and I judge the people in the story. And until I see otherwise, I stick to what I've seen and heard and form my opinion. The color don't got nothing to do with nothing. Black, blue, green, short, tall, fat, Arab, non-Jew, atheist. You look foul, you sound foul, you contradict yourself, you bring forth different versions of a story within a 1 week interval. I got a problem with you. Point blank. Nothing more, nothing less. We're entitled to our opinion about a story. We're entitled to believe the people involved in the story or not to believe them. That is our choice. Could we be wrong about what we think? Of course, because we weren't there, we weren't eyewitnesses. And only the perpetrator knows what happened to Cash Gernon and whoever he or she told, if indeed they told it. What is the truth pertaining to Cash Gernon on that fateful morning? Who all is involved and have knowledge thereof of the kidnapping and death of Cash Gernon? Did Darryinn Brown commit this atrocious crime against a 4-year-old on his own without any rendering aid from an outside source or sources pertaining to the Sherrod household, relatives, friends? Nobody else. Just him. Could this crime have been prevented had Dallas police followed through with the calls from the neighbors that Darryinn Brown was lurking about on their said properties and neighborhoods? Thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate the love, spreading the video, sharing the video, discussing these matters with me, sending me information. I thank you all for your support. But know that the Queen is the same 24 hours a day. I don't ride or die on nobody grown pertaining to the death of a child or a missing child because I don't know you. And I'm not getting ready to put my stamp on nothing with 2 feet pertaining to the death of a baby or a missing baby because I don't know you. And my mammy didn't give birth to you. I didn't grow up with you to say, I think he did it. I think she did it. I think they didn't do it because I don't know you. And the worst thing you can do is ride or die for somebody you don't even know and don't have a dog in the damn race. That's on you. Because what if you're wrong? And now you got to go scurry with your tail between your legs, looking foolish that you were ride or die for a stranger who killed a kid, aided the death of a kid. Thank you, Kinsley. Thank you so much for the super chat. God bless you. You see, sometimes it's best, as I keep saying, whether you're a YouTuber, you comment on social media, sites, apps, news reporter, person involved in the story, relative of a person that's dead, missing. Sometimes it's best to keep your mouth closed. Sometimes it's best not to speak on something that you don't know about publicly. You don't go to the library with allegations of sexual assault, rape, child molestation of a dead child or a living person because it's inflammatory, it's violent, it's disgusting. If you're not going to drop a name and a receipt, it's a waste of time. It's idle gossip until it can be proven to be factual. The flip side is also, how long did you know of the molestation, rape, assault? What did you do about it? Did you confront the parties who did it? Did you confront the messenger? Did you confront the victim? And did you go to the police and file a report of said matters? Stay woke. You don't take that shit to Facebook. Because as I stated, it's how it looks. I'm just trying to let y'all know what's been going on. Well, partner, what has been going on? Because I'm a little lost with all the discrepancies pertaining to who knows Darryinn Brown, who's been touched, ain't been touched. Because what I have to tell myself, if Peter Paul touched one, he touched somebody else. Stay woke. A pedophile is a pedophile. Does he or she have a liking or choosing? Of course. But if they thirsty enough with the affliction, they'll molest any child, boy or girl, both. So don't speak on something without a receipt. First-hand knowledge, eyewitness accounts. Because once you put it out, you can't take it back. I want to thank you all for joining me. And I want to thank you for listening and following the Queen. And I try to stay objective in every story I talk about, whether it's lighthearted or serious. True crime, doesn't matter. I give my opinion. Either like it, love it, or you push on. It's no big deal. But this is my opinion. And in this case of the death of Cash Gernon, there's something foul pertaining to the story. And not just the death of the child or the way the child was murdered. It is the participants in the story. And I see things that sometimes people don't see. I've always been told that I have the gift of discernment. And I own that. And I know that's a God-given gift. That I can see and sense stuff that you ain't gonna never see and sense. Again, I'm tooting my own horn right now because I can do that. You see, sometimes people can sense things that you can't sense. They can see things you can't see. They know things you don't know because it's a gut feeling. And sometimes that gut feeling is right on the money. There's something amiss with the death of this child. There's some hanky-panky that's been going on. There's some hanky-panky going on. There's somebody been lying and not telling the whole truth of their knowledge of the crime and the relationship with Darryinn Brown. But I pray that Darryinn Brown will tell the detectives everything of how he knew Cash, Carter, how many times he's been in that house, his relationship with Miss Sherrod, Cameron, and the other children in that house, who he was friends with, who he visited 2 days before, if indeed that is true. Just tell the truth, Darryinn Brown, so we can end this nightmare. Because as I told you all, it's Cash Gernon 2 weeks ago, but the day after Cash Gernon was bludgeoned, somebody else's child went missing. Somebody else's child was killed. And the day after that, it was another child, and then another child, and another child. And it's going to always be another child because we have sick people out here who don't have regard for life because they don't have regard for self. So you can't do right by me because you don't love yourself. So I am a target to you and anybody that gets in your damn path. So this is why I tell you, you have to stay woke. You have to be leery of people. You have to be aware of your surroundings. how you talk, how you carry yourself, the people you involve yourself with, the company you keep, the people you cut off. It's a dirty game out here. And whether you want to be a willing participant or not in the game, you can be immersed in the game by the company you keep, the people you knew and know of, the places you live, the places you frequent. Don't know when you will be a victim of a crime, immersed in a crime. What is the truth pertaining to the participants in this story? How long ago did Trevor Gernon leave Miss Sherrod's house? Was it 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago? What is the truth? And why are we hearing conflicting information by news sources? Why is Cameron changing his version of knowing Darryinn Brown? When was the last time they had a courtship as friends, hung around? What is the truth? What is the truth between Miss Sherrod's relationship and Darryinn Brown, if any? What is the truth? What is the truth of all these people and their relationships with one another? And where is Carter? Is he with the grandmother or the mother or state custody? Because in the end, when we don't have a receipt, we don't actually know. Because in the end, everything pertaining to this story, like so many, is somebody else's version. But you don't know what is the truth or not if you don't see it visually for yourself. How you doing, Trey? As I said, it's either this or that. Cannot be both. And I'm tired of the different versions. I'm tired of different stories. I see Cal City all day long with this story, with the hoopla, and the he said and the she said, and the people siding with this and that on people they don't know anything about. As I state, you're entitled to ride or die with whomever you want, but don't judge other people and bash other people for how they think about a story, because we are all different and we judge stories according to what we hear, see, assume, and our own personal experiences. And some of you can be jaded into believing people because perhaps you walk the life that they have walked, or you live how they live. So you identify with them. But as I said, you climb in that beast if you want to. Just make sure you can climb your ass back out when it's said and done. Because in the end, mud is mud. And the common denominator of all these stories is that the water is muddy because the participants are muddy. The water is murky because the participants are murky. And it will continue to be he said, she said, because the people involved are foul and rank. And they're the cause of the destruction of the child being missing or deceased. Because had they been living right, it wouldn't be a story in the first place. That's the common denominator of all these stories pertaining to missing children and dead children. The overseer wasn't overseeing the child. You want to donate to the channel? $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. All super chats are welcome during the live. I want to thank you for joining me. Like, share, subscribe. Post your comments on my community posts. God bless all of you. Have a safe day, safe weekend. Thank you, Junior Lee. God bless you. The writing is on the wall. It's always been on the wall. It's just a matter if you want to read it or not. You believe what you want to believe. But as I tell you, the truth is at the beginning of the story. Thank you, baby. Thank you, Junior Lee. The truth is always at the beginning of the story. Not the middle, not the end, but the beginning. Where you have lies, you have smoke. It's just a matter of who's going to be first to fold. Segregation.